Hello, and I'd like you to introduce you to my daughter. This is my eldest daughter, Becci, and I've managed to persuade her to do a video with me, which has been quite tough, I have to say.
Don't like it.
She's been very brave. This is her very first YouTube video ever. Is that true?
And yeah. Probably the last.
Now, usually we live 300 miles away from each other, and so she's come down to visit me and brought her 3 lovely children with me. With her. So it's been really nice having her for the week and having my grandchildren. And I thought we'd end the week by a question and answer session, picking your brains.
Fine by me. Good luck to you.
So the first real question was, how did you feel when I first told you I needed to transition?
When you first told me, I didn't believe you. Because you spent most of our childhood acting like a man. You know, I'm going to wear clothes, and you'd joke about how you were jealous of men because they got to stand up peeing, and, you know, so I didn't really believe it. I thought it was just another thing that you were saying. The first time it really hit me was when I got a friend request on Facebook from Will Mason. And it was like, hang on, that's Mum. That was when it really hit me. And at that point I went into shock, I think, and realisation at the same time. And then I just sort of got used to it over time. I think it wasn't that much of a shock considering other things from the past. I think it was just one more thing.
I did subject my poor children to a very strange childhood, some of which I'm proud of and most of which I'm not. And they've amazingly turned out quite sane, really. How they managed to, I don't know.
Debatable.
So, how do you feel about it now?
Now, I am fine with it completely. You know, you've got my full support. There are moments where I have sort of weird feelings where I feel kind of lost because I feel like I'm losing my mum, and like you're a whole new person now, which is ridiculous because you're not, but it's just how it feels sometimes. And it's like all of a sudden, you know, we're not supposed to call you mum, we're not supposed to call you she, we're not, you know, all these different things, and it's like a whole new identity, which is kind of hard to wrap your head around. But that's not as often now as it used to be.
I think that's quite common, actually. A lot of partners have said the same thing, that they've lost their girlfriend and found someone else.
It's ridiculous because you're still the same person. It's just the identity, which I think in our society is such a big thing. It makes it very odd, I guess.
So how is it with the pronouns? I have to say, actually, Becci has been one of my best allies in the family, and I've got 2 other children, another daughter and a son, who are slightly younger than Becci, and she's sort of led the way into telling them how to, you know, do the pronouns.
Yeah, they've been quite good this week while I've been here.
They have been much better than they are when you're not here, I have to say.
I do slip up though, and I keep saying that, because normally we talk online or on text, and or on phone where I can think about what I'm saying, but when I'm talking in person I keep saying that I want a backspace button and I miss my backspace button because I can't suddenly delete the she or the her and put in the he. But no, it's not been as bad as I thought it would be.
Excellent. Now, one of my big things is that I knew I wanted to transition way back in 2002, sort of 10 years ago. But because you were all in school, I decided to wait until you were all adults and you were all, you know, off my hands, so to speak. Was that the right decision?
It's complicated because when I'm the oldest, so obviously there's a good 5 years between me and my brother. So for me, it probably would have been okay if you came out 10 years ago. Because I was 16, I'd started getting on with my own life. You know, I had Jamie coming and...
Eldest daughter, Jamie.
Eldest son.
Eldest son, oh yeah.
It's a boy, I swear.
Yeah. I remember.
You were there when it was born.
I remember. See, loving grandparent knows all about these
Still
children.
can't get gender right of other people.
No.
No, well, I had Jamie coming and I was making my own life, was moving out, and so I probably would have been okay with it. I think it would have hit me the same regardless. But particularly with my sister, I think it was a good decision because she's never really adapted to change very well. The slightest little thing and she used to freak out.
She was 12 or 13 then. Would have been 12 or 13.
And my brother was 11, and with me moving out and with Jamie coming, he was already freaking out about all the changes that were happening in our family. So I think you probably did, but I think you waited far longer than you needed to. I think you probably could have done it sooner than 10 years, if that makes sense. I think once they got to about 16 or so, 5 years later. But hey ho, at least it's finally happening.
Absolutely, yeah. Right, so I mean, I know that certainly my son Tim hasn't told his workmates. My middle daughter hasn't either. She's told a few very close friends, but even her boss doesn't know. You've told a few of your friends, haven't you? How have they reacted?
It's been different with different people. Firstly, though, with Tim and Nikki, with Tim, he's not a very social person, so I don't think it's ever I doubt he's the type of person who ever goes into personal life anyway. So I don't think he's really a fair judge of how it goes. Nikki's, as I say, she's funny with change. So, but yeah, I have no problem telling people. But I have a general opinion about my life, that if people don't like me or something about my life, that's their problem, not mine. I'm happy with who I am. I've got great kids, I've got a good life. That's their problem, not mine, so whatever. I've got no problem telling anybody. I do, however, slightly adapt what I change for different people, because I know some people can't handle the full-blown lot. My boyfriend Ed, he knows it all. He's very happy and supportive of it all. He has a couple of confused bits, but I think considering he's not used to any of this, I mean, he's not used to even being around, gay people, which is really common now. I think the whole trans thing is just blowing his mind, but he's really understanding. He's coping with it well, and I've told him everything. There's a couple of close friends that I've told everything to, like even to the point of how I found out and how we had the discussion. Then there are other people where I will say, oh, my mum's trans, and I have great fun playing with people as well. Like I'm a little bit evil. I'll type in. I saw that. There's a camera there. I can see what you're doing. No, I have conversations with people and I'll go, I was just on the phone with my mum and he was doing this, and I'll wait for them to comment on it, knowing full well they don't know what's going on. And I'll wait, and there's been people who have laughed at me for typoing and going, ha, you just typoed your mum he, and I'll go, no, my mum is he. Why is that funny? And I'll wait, and then I'll explain. And then I think it's gotten to the point where they're feeling so awkward they can't really say anything about it.
What's so evil?
It's fun. But most people I'm open with. There's a couple of people I haven't said anything to, and that's mostly because they're the type of people who are so close-minded that they're even funny about things that I consider normal for a regular straight relationship. Never mind anything outside of the convention. And these are people my age as well. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it varies on how deep I go into it, but I never lie. I don't like liars. I've never liked liars, and I won't even lie to my children if they ask me a question about where babies come from. I just alter how much I tell them rather than lie to them about what happened. So,
Your children have been really good. I mean, they used to call me Nanny, and we came up, but the two of us were trying to find a name, and came up with the name Nandad. The two little ones, aged 3 and 4, and were very young, been transitioned for 2 years now. And I don't think they probably remember me being Nanny, do they?
They don't now, but I remember when we first had to try and change it. And they were very confused by the concept of Nanny and Nandad being the same person, just having a new name. That took a little while, but they're over it now and they don't remember any different.
Yeah, and I always get male pronouns from them.
Yeah. Although we did get a question on the way up from Brighton, didn't we? Nandad, are you a boy or a girl?
But then we also had Kian and I were ahead. Kian's 4, and Alyssa is 3, and she was back with Mum. And Kian said, "Oh, the boys are out in front, and the girls are lagging behind.
Girls are slow.
Girls are slow." Yeah. How's Jamie? He's 9.
Jamie surprised me. He does really well. He actually was better at it than I was. He used to correct my pronouns when I messed up, which was kind of humiliating, but
because he was 7 when I transitioned.
He remembers it all. He's asked questions about what's happening. So is Nandad now a boy or a girl? Nandad's a boy. Okay. He takes it all on. He asks sensible questions and uses the right pronouns, and he's adapted to Nandad before anybody else did. So no, he's done brilliantly.
Yeah, they've done. They are very intelligent children, though. I'm biased,
Well, they clearly get it from outside of the family.
Clearly. So, do you think you would? I'm trying to think, trying to phrase this nicely, okay?
Uh-oh.
Do you think you may be able to change my name at any point? This is a bit of a sore point. Now, I obviously would love to be not Mum, but I understand that is my name, and I understand that it's completely different and really tricky for you to sort of totally say, you're not my mum anymore, and I have no mum.
There are so many issues around this. I mean, for starters, when we've been out in public, I'm reluctant to shout mum because I don't want to embarrass you.
I must admit, I have felt quite strange when, for instance, we've been on the train. We've done lots of visits in trips out to this week, and you've gone mum, and then you have used she pronouns as well.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm thinking, well, how male do I look? Are people looking at me? And when I get a beard, that's going to look a bit weird.
It's awkward in public, and even I feel that. Mostly because I'm worried about embarrassing you, or just because I know how long you've struggled. I don't want to make that worse when you're finally getting everything sorted, The other problem we have is we don't have an alternative, because Dad is out of the question. For my brother and sister, Dad is not a good word. Whereas for me, I have my dad back. I'm in contact with my dad and I have a good relationship with him. And I don't know, I guess because our past is so rocky, it would feel like I was taking from him if I named you Dad as well, considering everything in our past. So there's that issue as well. And the other issue is that to me, Mum is not a woman. Mum is you. That's your name. Like, I'm Becci, you're Mum. That's your name. So there's a lot of issues around it. I'm not completely against the idea of changing the name, but it's going to be very hard. So.
And I understand that. It's just, and I don't know how you managed to do mum and then male pronouns, because that just would throw my mind, let alone your mind.
It is very odd. But as I say, it comes in really handy when I want to mess with people online.
So you're just evil, really?
Yeah. This isn't news to you.
No, that's true. Is there anything else that you do?
Probably, and we'll probably think of it later. When we're 300 miles away from each other again.
Yeah.
Because that's how it goes.
This is your opportunity to have a go at me.
The problem is we have our long conversations on the phone. I mean, we'll talk for about an hour to 2 hours each time.
She has asked loads and loads of sensible questions.
And all of our questions have gone. Yeah. We don't have them now.
But I think that's really good. I mean, what we have done is that I've said, whatever question you want to know, I will give you an honest answer. I mean, that's how I've brought all my children up, and that's how Becci is bringing her children up. If they want to know a question, I want them to be able to be free to ask that question, not, you know, have me or them embarrassed, and, you know, just to answer it honestly. And for the last 2 years, that's what we've been doing. Every time we communicate, you know, Becci will suddenly come up with a, well, so whatever. And
we've come up with random
this might
ones.
sound silly, but, you know.
There's everything stupid things from, like, changing your name at work to really random things like how hormones have changed from, you know, how men talk to each other compared to how women and men talk to each other. You know, and has Mum noticed the difference between talking to men now and talking to men when he was a recognisable woman? So it's been really, really random questions.
Yeah, it has. But I think the reason why you're so chilled with it, and I think the reason why Tim and Nikki aren't so chilled, is that you have asked these questions, and all these fears and things that are in your mind, you've allayed by getting it out there. And I think that's probably, you know, a top tip. Top tip for surviving is communication. And no other trans guys have said that with their partners, and obviously I don't have a partner, and I'm not gonna have a partner with you, by the way. You know, this isn't no. I know, I'm sorry, I might cut that out.
I don't know why you go to these places. See, this is why it's a miracle that I grew up normal.
Say normal, but you know.
Okay, socially acceptable.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I would say, top tip, if you're going to spring this on your children, make sure that you're prepared to answer every question that they might come across, and even if that means,
no matter how embarrassing,
how does you stand and pee now, and to, you know,
yes, I've asked in-depth questions about the peacock because I'm genuinely curious. I wonder if I'd be as curious about that if I was male, or about most of the questions if I was male, but because I'm female, it's like seeing into the mind of a man with a female, but a man, it's just, I don't know, it's like a science experiment. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a science student, which just makes it worse.
Yeah, I get scientific questions.
Here's my science experiment, you see. We're doing hormone issues.
Hormone imbalance.
Seeing how things change and all the stroppy, snappy sounding things that genuinely didn't mean to.
I've been told off so many times this week, well, you sound cross. No, I'm not cross, I'm just talking.
There was one point you were joking with me and I thought you'd snapped at me.
Oh, it's really hard work sometimes. Anyway, thank you so much. I know that was a big deal for you to come on camera, and I really, really appreciate it.
If any of you have any questions from a child's point of view, comment on this video and I will reply from my channel. It'll be in text, it won't be on a video because this is horrible, but I can reply as a child, so if you want that insight, then...
And that's actually that's one of the things that you've commented on. There's not enough information from an adult child's point of view.
There's one organisation in America which is for families, but there's nothing in the UK. Nothing at all to help the children of trans, which is just not fair.
I'm sure it'll come. Because Becci will start it.
Yeah. You know, in the free time I don't have.
Absolutely.
I'll do it while I'm doing my photography business.
That will confuse everybody.
Finn will get it. Hi, Finn!
Oh dear, my in-jokes are not good on this.
No,
that's me.
Sorry.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you very much. And we will end it here. Bye.